Good morning, everyone. It is Friday, April 30th, 18th day of ER. Lag BaOmer Tafshin Pei Aleph. And I'm not sure where to begin because so many mixed emotions today. Normally, when I think about this message for Friday, we think about what's going on during the week, exciting events coming up. We have our shul barbecue coming up, and we have incredible bar mitzvah this Shabbos. Mazel tov to Simi and Migdal, Samantha and Gabe, celebrating the bar mitzvah this Shabbos, wonderful simcha this Shabbos, and also just Lag BaOmer itself. Lag BaOmer itself, I think back to my childhood of how we counted down the days to Lag BaOmer because it meant, the first outdoor outing, baseball game, barbecuing, whatever it might be, and this year, this day of celebration in which we start listening to music again, and we have haircuts and shaving again, and people make weddings, and it's celebrations, and we start thinking about coming out of the darkness and the plague that affected Rabbi Akiva and the students, how it ended, and the students stopped dying. And of course, we're shocked right back into mourning with the events that took place in Israel and are still going on as we speak. If you've ever been to Meron, whether Lag BaOmer or not, it's really quite an experience, but it's probably one of the largest, if not the largest, Jewish gathering that ever takes place, with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people coming to celebrate the festive holiday of Lag BaOmer, which for now, at least, we're told now, at least 45 families will be a yard site instead of a day of celebration. One of my favorite rituals that I have on Fridays is because the high school is remote, so I have the privilege of driving the other kids to school. So I make sure that we get out of the door before 8 o'clock, which is in and of itself a challenge. But the reason is I want to listen to the Hebrew news. I listen to Galei Tzahal, or you might know it as Gal Galatz, and I like to listen to the news on the hour. I like to hear the Hebrew. But most importantly, at the end, they announce the Parshat HaShavua, the Eilu Zmanei Knisat HaShabbat, Eilu Zmanei Yetziat HaShabbat. They give you the times of Shabbos, when it starts, when it ends, in all the major cities of Israel. And you have probably some non-religious newscaster telling you the times of Shabbos. And they get it right, and meaning it's like, and if it's a special Shabbos, it's Mevarchem HaChodesh, it's Parshat Parah, whatever it might be. And it just shows me the holiness of Israel, that even in the radio broadcast, how you hear the Parshat HaShavua, which is something that's always incredibly inspiring to me. But today, even the usual jingle of, if you listen to Gal Galatz, it's, they have this very upbeat jingle of Ma Shekore Achshav, and it was very somber, solemn, didn't say the words, and the entire regular programming is pushed off because they're reporting live from Meron. And what we didn't see on the English print media from Israel, I've heard on the Israeli media, they actually started publishing names and ages of those who perished in this horrible incident. And when you hear ages of 16 years old, 20 years old, newly married, 9 children, someone died who had left over 9 children, and now we're hearing that they're still waiting to identify bodies and to notify the families. And just think of it also in Israel, when burial has to take place as soon as possible, and it's getting close to Shabbos, and they want to have identifications, and it's just heart-wrenching. And also dozens and dozens of people who are injured in this terrible sort of peacetime event, they call it. It's not a terror attack and it's not war, but it's just a horrible, horrible occurrence. Now, it happens to be that our tendency is to, maybe it makes us feel better, I don't know, is to blame. What went wrong? But I think that's not the time. Now is not the time for that. And one of the incredible things, they were broadcasting live from Kikar Rabin, and there was a Mada set up a blood center, people to donate blood, and they just stam an individual who said he was from Florentine, and he waited 3 hours online to donate blood. Now, by the way, these are the same people that would probably yell back and forth, Charidim and Chilonim and religious, non-religious, fighting with each other to tooth and nail. But when your brother's in trouble, and when the country's in trouble, and this is a national tragedy, ein bias asher ein shames, every single person is affected by this. And by the way, there were people from the diaspora who were there also affected by this. Got several notes from various institutions with which I'm involved about American students who were still missing and families trying to locate them. And we fear the worst. We hope for the best. Waiting 3 hours online to donate blood. Not sitting there pointing fingers, not sitting there blaming. But now is a time for us to mourn. It's a time for us to, I don't know what there is that we could do other than pray. I have attached to the email today the prayer of Achena, which we said in Shul last night and this morning. We say it every Monday and Thursday, in which we feel the common pain of our brothers and sisters everywhere in the world. We should share one another's simchas as well. I've taken it upon myself to make a donation today in honor of my good friend Eli Beer to United Hatzalah. If you think about the great work that United Hatzalah was doing there on the scene, and think of the trauma that is impacting those volunteers with what they had to see, people who are literally crushed to death. And if you read the reports, it's just absolutely horrifying. That's what we can do. Our job is to feel the loss and to maybe do something better in our own lives that will bring about Rachamei Shemayim. We daven a little better, do an extra mitzvah, come to shul a little more, study a little Torah, something, I don't know, but something that we have to find a way to have Lag BaOmer become a simcha again. Not this year, but again. We're told that the Gemara tells us, maybe I'll share this again tomorrow, again, without putting a damper on the simcha, chas v'shalom, but that Rabbi Akiva, after his 24,000 students died, what did he do? He didn't wallow in his pity and he didn't, crawl into a hole. He found 5 new students, and through these students, he rebuilt Torah. And there are, at least right now, as we know, 45 people who died, who were just going to celebrate a Chag. And it is upon us, on Klal Yisrael, to rebuild those families and to do what we can to support them, to do what we can to show how we care. Again, already many of the levayot, many of the funerals are taking place as we speak. And I can imagine someone going, I'm going to go to Meron for a Lag BaOmer, and the next day you're starting Shiva. It's just so unbelievably difficult to comprehend. Investigations will come, heads will roll, I'm sure, but that's not for now. For now, it's just for us to try to figure a way to absorb and to collectively improve on ourselves as individuals and as a community, and to show support wherever it is that we can. So on this, what should have been a very, very joyous Lag BaOmer, one where we don't feel much like celebrating. But Shabbos is coming, and we have to observe Shabbos, and we have to celebrate our bar mitzvah, and we have to daven, and we have to learn, and we have to move on. And let's just hope that comfort will come to those who have experienced this horrible, tragic loss. And let's pray also for healing for those who are injured, and they should have full, complete recovery. And let's just remember, Achena Kol Beis Yisrael, that all of the people of Israel, we don't ask, kind of what shul you go to. We don't ask what you eat. We don't ask how you got there. It's Achena Kol Beis Yisrael. We are all one. So let's hope that, as if like this year wasn't hard enough, and the first public gathering in Meron for 2 years because of the pandemic, it just layer upon layer of complication and difficulty and horror, and this only adds to it. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu throws us many tests, and we will endure. So again, I wish only the best for those families, and let's hope that we can come together as individuals, as a community, and show our collective grief, pain, and sorrow for those who are affected. And I wish you all to the degree that we're able to, a Lag BaOmer Sameach and a Shabbat Shalom.